Hey, what's up, y'all? Hold on, let me take the sunnies off. I want to thank you, Eye to Eye, for checking out Sway's Universe. And I appreciate it. We got so many videos we want you to see, so push that notification button for me. Do it now and enjoy the video. Peace.
For him believing the Russian government was going to help him out. And then Donald Trump actually using his position as president of the United States, where he went to the side and made sure no American was around him when he was talking to Vladimir Putin, to then come back and say, oh yeah, we talked about adoption. Donald Trump trying to follow up with the lie that he drafted on the airplane to throw the prosecutor and everybody else off the track.
Well, this is probably one of the most outspoken people. He doesn't hold his tongue, Heather B. I mean, whether it's Russell Brand or whether it's, Donald Trump, he's going to speak the truth the way he understands it, unapologetically, which is one of the things I admire about him in his show. You don't always have to agree with somebody in their politics to be able to admire what they stand for. I'm not saying that's true to Joe, but he's here today on our show, and one of the things I like about him is he's electric, he's unpredictable, and believe it or not, he's not just here to talk about politics. The one and only Joe Scarborough is here, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, there you go. Yeah.
But since we're there, Joe.
Let's talk it.
Since we're there,
Joe.
Come
on.
Because we were having this conversation this morning about these recent developments. We're learning that our president actually helped, or how did they put it? He contributed to the statement.
He did anything that any father would do for their son.
Yeah, by trying to help his son, Trump Jr., out of this scandal that's looming over his head. And then the White House also used an excuse that, he would do anything that a father would do for his son. I don't care about the father part as a citizen of this country. I just care about what my president is doing. Yeah. The lines are getting blurred. Some people say when our president makes comments that are offensive, then we categorize them as jokes. And when it's not offensive, when it passes through, we call it policy. How do you assess what's going on in this administration in this first, 6 or 7 months?
Well,
so far?
The biggest challenge is you've got to keep context to it all,
Mm-hmm.
because so much is coming at us every day. It really is exhausting because there's a scandal. It seems like there's a scandal every 15 minutes breaking on your phone. And so you sit there and go, well, how are we going to do the show next?
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to keep everything in perspective? But this morning's a great example. The White House yesterday got busted in 3 pretty obvious lies. The first one was, even when Sarah Huckabee Sanders went out and said, oh, this is what any father would do for his son, she just contradicted what all of Donald Trump's lawyers had lied about a couple weeks earlier, where they said, wait, Donald Trump had nothing to do with the statement. He didn't know anything to do with it. He was ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
So they just lied. And then they moved on. Sean Spicer lied about this Seth Rich story. Fox News promoting this gross story about this poor kid that got shot and killed down in D.C., and now they're trying to wrap the whole Russia scandal around his neck.
Mm-hmm.
His parents are saying, have you no shame?
Mm-hmm.
And now there's a possibility that Donald Trump actually was promoting that story. And there's a lawsuit claiming that he was promoting the story, that he was talking to people at Fox News, pushing them to promote that story. And even if we don't eventually find out what the truth is about that, we already know that he lied because Sean Spicer went out and said, oh, no, we never even met anybody from Fox News about this story. And then, of course, he had to correct that yesterday, too. There's not a different lie every day. There's about 10 different lies a day. And I'm glad that he's got the general to be his chief of staff.
That's a good choice?
It's a good choice. Here's a problem, though. Any one of us could go in and be Donald Trump's chief of staff today. We'd still have to be cleaning up for everything that he's done over the past 6 months, year, 2 years. At some point, Bob Mueller's going to get his tax returns. He's going to review his tax returns, and Donald Trump's going to freak out, and even General Kelly's not going to be able to stop that.
Did you vote for Donald Trump?
No.
Okay, you didn't vote.
No,
for
I announced back in December of 2015, 3 months before the voting started, I could never vote for anybody, especially in my party, that wanted to ban 1 billion people because of the God they worshipped. Yeah. I mean, the Muslim ban was un-American. And I said at the time, this sounds kind of like what happened in Nazi Germany in 1933, 1934. And it was the start of, and then I think we really stopped talking in February because the day before Super Tuesday, Donald Trump pretended he didn't know who David Duke was. Yeah. And he wouldn't condemn the Ku Klux Klan, so I wrote something in the Washington Post saying it's, he's playing off of bigotry.
Yeah.
And he's lying because he knows who David Duke is. He knows what the Klan has done. Yeah. And I said it was disqualifying. So, the Republican Party made their bed, and now they're having to sleep in it. It's getting ugly.
And you've seen a lot of Republicans distancing themselves from the president. Can we believe anything that this administration says?
No. I mean, Ronald Reagan said of the Soviets, trust but verify. I don't even think we can trust now. I think we have to conclude when they come out, and Sarah Huckabee Sanders yesterday, after the White House lying about Donald Trump drafting the statement, she said, well, he only looked at it because of being a father. I think we have to presume that the Washington Post had it right.
Yeah.
That everybody on that plane was telling Donald Trump not to get involved, but he was the one that drafted the statement to help pick. Same thing with this Fox News story.
Yeah.
They're denying that he knew anything about the Fox News story. That lie is going to last about 2 or 3 days, and then that's going to get exposed. These people think we're living in 1978. They don't understand we got text messages, we got emails, we got voicemails,
servers,
we got servers. Yeah. I mean, Bob Mueller knows more things about Donald Trump than Donald Trump's forgotten about himself.
Yeah. Joe Scarborough is here, ladies and gentlemen. You want to jump in on this, man? This is like your biggest fan, right?
Oh, no. Thank you so much.
Hit him with the doozy, Mike. Hit him with the doozy.
Right between the eyes, baby. Come on.
No, first, I respect everything you do. I enjoy your commentary. I think the job of being a great commentator is you can evoke emotions from individuals, right? So some may disagree, some may agree, but at the end of the day, does it evoke a reaction? And I think that's doing a great job as a commentator. We hear about the headlines, and we've been talking about the last 5 minutes with you, just what the major headlines are almost every hour with breaking news. I kind of want to just talk more and put this all into context from the Republican Party perspective. Yeah. I'm really excited for the book from Arizona Republican Senator Flake, whose new book is Conscience of a Conservative, A Rejection of Destructive Politics and Return to Principle. Yeah. What I find interesting is that now we're starting to see more Republicans come out and talk about the state of our democracy and the state that we're in. In particular, a quote from the book, it says, "But we're conservatives mock Barack Obama's failure to deliver on his pledge to change the tone in Washington. Even as we work to assist with that failure, it was we conservatives who, upon Obama's election, stated that our number one priority was not advancing a conservative policy agenda, but making Obama a one-term president. The corollary to this binary thinking being that his failure would be our success and the fortune of the citizenry would presumably be sorted out in the meantime." With that being said, at what point do the Republican Party begin to put democracy ahead of the Republican agenda, or remain the Republican agenda advance because there is a Republican president in the White House? When do more Republicans begin to speak like Senator Flake?
That's a good question. I mean, I've been a Republican most of my life, and I had to leave the party a couple weeks ago because I just didn't see enough people doing that. When you have a president that lies as much as he lies, when you have a president that says as many bigoted things about, he starts by saying bigoted things about Mexicans, then he says bigoted things about Muslims, then he says bigoted things about, he calls a judge from the Hoosier state a Mexican. He was born in Indiana. His parents are Hispanic, but he said you can't trust him. He's a Mexican. And it went again. I talked about David Duke, the Klan. Time and time again, there were a lot of Republicans that said they could never support Donald Trump. Then the second he won, they supported Donald Trump. I'm not exactly sure how you did that. So the question is, when are more of them going to speak out against him? I don't know. I would hope they would speak out against him before it is completely politically safe to do so. But I'm afraid they're not going to do that. I think too many are holding. Now, there are some people, Jeff Flake, John McCain, Ben Sass, senator from Nebraska, they have been strong. Senator from Oklahoma, which here's a good example, James Langford. That's not easy for a senator from Oklahoma to attack Donald Trump. It'd be like a senator from California attacking Barack Obama. Not easy to do so. I respect guys like that where it's not an easy call for them to do it, but it should be pretty simple. It's just like the White House staff. I don't know about you guys, but if I'm working in the White House staff, it might be cool to work in the White House staff, but not if I have to lie every day to the press. If we got time, I'd love to tell the story. There was.
Wait, let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's play one of your songs, and we'll come back and tell the story.
Okay.
Because you mentioned time, and we're gambling with time.
Are we gambling with time now?
Yeah. And I want to make sure.
Let me tell you, it was a good story. I'll let Mika tell it to you because she's heard it 1,000 times.
Yeah, we're going to come back and tell it. You got a new debut EP. This sounds off the wall right now.
It's off the wall.
It's off the wall. Shout out to Michael Jackson. And when I listened to your EP, I thought of Off the Wall.
No, you didn't.
No, not the actual album.
No, I was
just
going to say that's too good.
You're doing this singing. It was off the wall.
It was off the
But I was really, I really found something I liked about it. It's called Mystified. It's out right now. Joe Scarborough is singing.
Whoa.
And he's taking us back. And it's a certain feel that I got from this EP I want to talk to you about. Let's play track number 3. It's called Time Rolls On. Sway in the Morning, Shade 4-5.
It's Sway in the Morning.